It's risky for a tea queen like me to attend an afternoon tea this soon after a new venue opening. The Good, the Bad, the Ugly, and the Yummy of Afternoon Tea, Hamilton Edition. This summer, a new Italian restaurant has opened called Persona on James Street in Hamilton, Ontario, Canada. They had been advertising their weekend afternoon tea service online, namely on Instagram, every few days, and it looked so good, I decided to check it out. Starting with the good, I enjoyed the vibe and ambiance here. It has a modern and clean design, and I will say that the food here was pretty good, but I'll describe that below. Moving swiftly into the bad, there were two aspects here. The tea menu described 10 tea options. This is on the low side because there were only 3 black teas and only 1 was flavored. It's odd to have more herbal options than black teas at afternoon tea in my experience. Obviously, from a list like this, I chose cream of Earl Grey. My husband chose the blueberry white tea. The main problem here was that when the tea finally arrived, because it took quite a while, it was not hot. I would say it was lukewarm at best. Yes, I could have asked for a new pot of hot tea, but I wanted to get into eating and recording. They could have also served the tea at an appropriate temperature without me having to ask. It's not acceptable at afternoon tea to not serve hot tea, hot. Neither my husband nor I cared enough to make an issue of it. But I know there are other teetotalers out there, my mama is one of them, who would find this a very bad aspect. The second bad part was how overbaked the scones were. You can clearly see they are very dark. This is probably even 5 extra minutes in the oven than necessary. I was very worried we wouldn't even be able to eat them. We each got 2 scones and they were served with a raspberry jam, a marmalade, and a creamy concoction. Luckily, the scones had a buttery texture, so they were edible, but they did not look good and would have certainly tasted better if they weren't so crunchy and overbaked. If I had to guess, I would say that the creamy mixture was 80% butter and 20% mascarpone cheese. It had the consistency of butter, but also that tangy twinge that would come from mascarpone. It was edible, but as you know, scones should always be served with proper clotted cream, which has neither butter nor mascarpone in it. The scone tier is a very important part of an afternoon tea experience and needs some help here. Ugly? Nothing at Persona was ugly. In fact, the food looked so photogenic when it came out. It's one of the reasons I was drawn to their online advertising. It looked great. The savory food here is quite unique and quite Italian. I like that they had a printed menu on the table to follow along with what food was being served. They also had it posted online, so I knew what we were being served before our visit. Let's talk details. On the savory side, there was a sourdough focaccia toast with burrata cheese and roasted peaches. There was a mortadella sandwich on a brioche bun, and the third and final savory item was a lobster arancini, which is a fried risotto ball. This savory plate looked very yummy, so appealing. I started with the lobster arancini. I am not a big seafood fan, and I found this a bit strong for me. I am happy I tried it, and if you like lobster, you'd probably love this item. Even my husband was willing to try it, so I shared mine with him. He felt the same way as I did about it. On to option 2, I decided I didn't want this amount of mortadella, so I removed quite a bit of it to make it a bit more accessible to eat. The fennel slaw and meat was a good combination once I removed some. The brioche bun was the best part of this Sammy. It was fluffy and fresh. Finally, I tried the sourdough toast bite. It tasted pretty good. The peaches were nicely cooked. I wouldn't call them caramelized, but they were cooked nicely. The burrata didn't really have a flavor, but added a nice creamy texture. Of the 3 savories, this one was my preferred item. These bites were all unique and well put together. Not your classic afternoon tea sandwiches, but nothing wrong with that from time to time, especially at an Italian restaurant, which is really stepping outside the box to serve something called afternoon tea. It did bother me a bit that they call their different tiers Act 1, Act 2, and Act 3, signaling the order in which you're going to eat your food. But then they don't serve it in the same matching order. Why are the scones on the bottom and not in their Act 2 middle spot? That was a puzzling choice, don't you think? We already covered the overbaked scones and creamy concoction, so we can move right into Act 3, the sweets. We each got 5 items. They included a lemon cannoli, a hazelnut cookie, another cookie, a pistachio cream puff, and a strawberry cake. I appreciated the different shapes in this act. The hazelnut cookie was very hard and was our least favorite. The other cookie was nothing special. Both of these cookies could have been omitted, and I'd have loved to have seen a decadent chocolate item to replace them. Despite these complaints, these sweets tasted pretty good. I liked the lemon cannoli. The lemon inside was very creamy without the usual tartness of lemon. I was most surprised by the strawberry cake. It was listed to be a mascarpone mousse genoise. As we know, I really don't like mascarpone flavor, but this was good. And the super fine dice on the strawberry was impressive. This dessert shows great culinary skill. This was a delicate cake and it was my favorite bite overall. We'll call this the yummy for my review. The service was good and attentive. This afternoon tea costs $47 per person. I would suggest that this is likely an introductory price and they will raise it by $8 to $12 in the coming months, as they likely consider this a quote-unquote elevated experience and can get away with a higher price in their city. Overall, I was impressed by this afternoon tea. Given that they have been serving it for only a few weeks, they did a very respectable job. They certainly need to work on their scone tier to really bring this up to standard, if they so choose. As served, my Queen of Afternoon Tea rating is 3.7 stars. I just can't give it a gold level rating of 4+, due to the scones and lukewarm tea. I suspect my next visit here would be higher. Would you visit Persona for an Italian take on afternoon tea? Share your early impressions in the comments below, and please be sure to like and share this video to help it reach new audiences. Thanks for coming to Hamilton with us today, tea friends.